Great, so I'm going to look east towards the Calumet area, and here's a map of the southern end of Lake Michigan, which is, generally speaking, the Calumet region. The state line is right here, and this portion here, these are steel mills. Now, Paul mentioned before about our newest national monument. This is not the Canal flowing in front of Bouman, but Bouman is definitely called out in the borders of the Heritage Corridor. And here, the stories of national significance really pile up. There's Paul's other park over in Indiana, and again, a tremendous juxtaposition here of huge biological diversity and huge cultural diversity with stories of American life that talk about entrepreneurship and industry and civil rights and labor. This is a map. This shading is the Canal boundary. Here's Bouman. This is the Dunes National Park. This dotted line is, generally speaking, the Calumet region of both states. And I should also call out the Black Metropolis National Heritage effort near the downtown Chicago. So the Calumet, as with respect to its watery history, if you turn right at Bouman instead of left, as Yogi Berra said, if you see a fork in the road, take it. So this one is the Cal-Sag, and its fortunes, as Dick pointed out before, have been tied in with INM since it was constructed. This is a sort of a typical landscape, and you can see the Calumet River in the background here, flowing through the region. This is the Acme Coke Plant, and that is a flower that was only found in the region in 1911 and was last seen in 1916, has only ever been found in the Calumet region. That's the juxtaposition we're talking about. I work at the Field Museum. We've been collecting in this area for 100 years and have many collection records, specimens, objects, about 30,000 from the Calumet region in our collections. And then what it adds up to, and here's another way to look at the biodiversity of the region, a lot of habitat of significance, but also you can see here some key other places along the INM corridor. But this is one reason that we've been very engaged with Calumet. Of course, these images are the sort of thing that popped up. It was a lot of land available for industry. It was far from labor. They thought they could run away from their labor issues, and was very attractive to people from around the world. We saw the Lamont labor issue. This was 1937 Memorial Day massacre on the southeast side of Chicago that is still highly resonant in the community. And along with the Pullman, with Trumbull Park, with a story of the Pullman Porters, labor rights and civil rights have been a very important part of the story of this region. It's been studied as a region for at least 100 years. This is Alfred Miner's work from Valparaiso University, that sort of a series of studies he did from the 30s through the 50s that sort of established this as an integral area. A couple years ago in Gary, a Calumet summit of about 250 people was convened and challenged to find a game-changing idea. They said, you know what, let's try to connect up Pullman with the dunes. And in fact, that does follow on work that was done by the National Park Service in 1998, where an earlier study for a heritage area suggested that there's plenty of national significance in that zone. After that was completed in 1998, something called the Calumet Heritage Partnership was created. The partnership has been keeping an eye on the heritage area idea since. I happen to be the president of it right now, and the Field Museum is a partner. I've had annual conferences, including on the water in Blue Island, and there's the bridge we were talking about. Also has an archival collection and a website, CalumetHeritage.org, that has more about this effort with respect to the Calumet region on the webpage. Just last night, a conversation was brought together by my colleague Madeline over in Portage, Indiana. A series of conversations have been happening across the region to sort of gather up themes for interpretation, themes that connect to that region, but that process is also developing some ideas that could lead to connections with INF. What I want to say about this is that many things are happening in the region. In the city of Chicago, there's a land use plan that sort of governs thinking about how the river corridor is to be used. There's a lot of in-depth thinking about waterway planning. This is Midlothian Creek. And for the last 3 years now, there's been this Millennium Reserve process. A steering committee brought together, this was established by the Illinois DNR, about 22 members of the committee around the table. Jerry is one of them, and I'm another. And a series of priority projects that we'll hear some more from maybe Steve or maybe Jason. But there's funding available in the Illinois coastal zone. The state is now in the coastal zone management region, and there are funds available. And of course, one reason we do the work is in looking forward, as Allison pointed out. In fact, these are the very same kids who have popped up again. So I wanted to sketch this as a broad set of opportunities where there are themes that overlap, themes of navigation and connectivity. Heritage areas can also overlap as they can overlap national parks. And there, as I mentioned, coastal funding available. There's something called the Chicago Calumet Rivers Fund that exists now. Some possible mechanisms to draw together some of these themes in actual projects, that partnerships are requisite in order to make the project.